Hey people, it's time for part 3 it looks like in how to write and I guess now record a simple rock or metal song. Um, I'm going to try and give this a guide on how to write a quick, fairly good quality, and most of all easy and cheap way to record a song. But I'm going to fall flat on my face because home recordings are not any of those 3, 4, 5 things. I'm going to try and break this down into 3 sections. First is going to be buying your equipment, software, hardware, whatever else you need. Second is going to be preparing for the actual recording, and third is going to be the actual recording. Before I start going into this, I'm going to tell you that this is not an easy process. You're going to have to work at it if you want quality. The equipment's not easy to come by. Actually, it's easy to come by. It's not easy to pay for. And it takes a lot of practice. There's no way around that one. You could probably get it cheap and be missing and have it take forever to record it and shit quality. You can get good quality and it's going to take, millions and millions of dollars if you want to go down that road. The really good road. And you can also do this really easily, but then, obviously you're not going to get anywhere. And it's going to be expensive if you want it quick. So section 1 is your equipment, which is hardware and software. Hardware is where you're going to spend all your money. I have a digital interface which is about $600 and a whole load of mics which are probably getting close to $1,000 now. I use all of them and I still need a lot more mics. The interface is doing fine for now, and you don't need a $600 one, but you need something. Usually maybe a mixing board with an output if you want to go down that way. And basically what that'll do is it'll hook your computer up to whatever you're recording mic-wise. You need something with a preamp in it if you want to record using proper microphones like this one here. And you don't really need one if you want to record using one like what the hell, where is it? This one here. But this thing sucks. Don't buy this for music recordings. Oh, that's a USB mic. Microphones also. This thing. This is called an SM57. It goes for a few $100s depending on where you get it. Looks like this. A lot of people use them. They're really solid mics, but they're only good for vocals really, or talking. You're also going to want something like an SM50. Sorry, this is an SM58. I'm dumb. SM57 looks like this guy here. Those are probably better off for guitar amps, and surprisingly enough, snare drums. If you want to close mic it, you're going to need a whole load of mics if you want to do drums. Like a whole load. I'm using 7, I think, right now. Actually, you can see my drums behind me. So there's probably going to be a tutorial on drums sometime in the not too distant future. But I'm not going to get into those because there's so many ways to go at it. I don't even understand it yet, really. Actually, I will go at it. But, okay. Bass amps are a little tricky. You can use an SM57 or something like that for those. But it's really not the best idea because there's better mics out there. I would suggest, if you're going for something cheap, use a kick drum mic. I know that doesn't sound like it would work, but it does, if you want a really good low-end type thing. There's always cheaper mics you can buy, but these are the best that you can get on a reasonable budget, and they're all dynamic microphones, which means they don't have a power source to them. If you want to take it one step further, you can get condenser microphones, which are going to range $500 to like thousands of dollars for a good one. You don't really need a condenser mic for metal, to be honest, because you just don't. Like, you don't need that kind of quality for now. You're going to need it down the road if you get anywhere, but for now you don't need that. Also, one more thing you are going to need is a preamp. I think I've been over this already, but if you want to plug something directly into your computer, you need a preamp, because if you try and plug this into your computer using an adapter that looks like this, Not gonna work. Okay, hardware section aside, now we get into the software section. Okay, software is why you guys are a lot luckier than guys 10 years before you. It's estimated that a computer today that most people can afford is just as good as a studio something like 10, 20 years back. And it really is. I mean, the software that I can download for freeware is really solid. The software that you can download from not freeware is also really, really, really good. But it's not a comparison to like hardware that they use in professional studios today. But I mean, you don't want that stuff because that's a lot more money. Okay, 2 bits of software that you should know about. First is Sony Acid. This is what I use because, well, what I use at home because it's fairly cheap comparatively, and it does the job well. It has good plugins, and you can always download some off the internet. I'd recommend the Classic series, which is Classic Compressor, Classic EQ. Look into those if you get any kind of software. Also, I'm going to go over Pro Tools. Pro Tools is the industry standard. It's what the pros use, hence the name. But it's also a lot more money, and you need to have an interface. You cannot just plug something into the front of your computer. So you have to buy a DigiDesign or M Audio interface. These kinds of interfaces for a solid one are so much money that I can't justify buying that because I get fine with Acid. But down the road, I'm gonna have to buy it because of the quality increase. I know a lot of you can't afford that, nor should you if you're just starting out in recording, because you'll probably go away before you get to that point. Sorry. I'd imagine a couple of you are saying right now, so why do I need to invest in all this stuff when you can get away with other cheaper stuff? Simple, the quality increase is so much better. I mean, you can always get away with it, but why bother? The only thing you can get away without is for guitars, because that's a lot easier. And for now, I'd really just recommend you synth-in drums, because recording real drums costs more money than like anything else combined. Because you need close mics for all the drums, or you can go overhead mics, which are less expensive but less quality. Actually, overhead mics are not a bad idea, but then you need to buy an individual overhead mic. But if you're a drummer, I mean, it's worth the money. So now I'm going to go into section 2, which is preparation. There's not too much that you need to know here. But if I can stress one thing, it's know your song well. Know what beats per minute it's at. Know what key it's in even. Know when it changes time signatures if it does. Know everything about it. Just know how to play it more importantly than anything. Then tell whoever's recording you, or if you're recording yourself, just plug it into your program and you're ready to go. Simple as that. Also, for preparation, I would always set up a guitar profile for your song, unless it's really overboard complicated, or you know what you're doing exactly. From there, you're pretty much ready. Once you start recording, section 3, you're going to want to do 3 things. First thing is you're going to want to record your drums. That's usually the first thing. For recording drums, I would almost recommend, in fact I would recommend, you play the guitar profile for the drummer, so that he has some music to jam along to, and he's not just taking a shot in the dark. That's how I record drums. Then you're going to want to do your bass as the second thing. Then your lead instruments as your third. That's vocals, lead rhythm guitar, keyboard if you have it. But this is always changeable. If you're Les Claypool, I mean, your bass is going to be more of a melodic instrument than a rhythm instrument. Awful example there, by the way. But try and record something that you can lay your groundwork on first, and drums are always first. So drums, groundwork, other instruments. From there, you're going to want to get into editing. There's 2 effects that you're going to need to use and be pretty familiar with. First one is compression. Second one's EQ. I'm not going to go into how to use those right now. I might later, but there's no use in it because there's so many better articles out there and even videos on YouTube about how to use those 2 that it would be wasting my time. Okay, I have 30 seconds left before I can upload this on YouTube, so I'm going to go through this really quick. Drum miking, you're probably going to want to use an overhead mic for now. That's getting a mic. 80-20-20 is a good one, and probably 2 of those, and one on the bass drum, a kick drum mic. That way you'll get fairly good quality on all your toms and everything, and you'll get your kick drum to come through clear. Last thing is line-in guitar recording. Don't do this. This is where you plug your guitar directly into the computer. Use an SM57 on your amp because that's a lot better quality. I'm done.